Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Austin Baker, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the program Smaply and how it should be integrated into the University of Indianapolis's experience design curriculum. A recent study done by Forbes revealed that on average, businesses lose about $62 billion in revenue every year. Why? Well, because they deliver poor customer experiences. Maybe their representatives were rude to somebody, or maybe they just didn't have a certain product in their store, or maybe they just didn't test out any of their services properly before they made them go live to the public. But no matter the reason, all it takes is one tiny bad experience to completely lose a customer. By successfully integrating experience mapping software into UND's curriculum, we can teach students how to head off this problem before it even becomes a problem. And it is also going to make our students more marketable and competitive because experience mapping is a transferable skill that you can use in just about any sector. Other schools with experience design programs like Brigham Young University and the University of Kent and University of Colorado Boulder already use this technique. We want to stay competitive with them and give our students the most marketable skills they can possibly have. So, this may bring up the question, what is experience mapping? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is basically a map that helps you visualize a customer or guest's journey as they go through the different steps of your service, or as they attend an event, or go to one of your physical locations if you have a retail store or a museum or a theme park or something of that nature. And the way it analyzes this is by utilizing touch points at the different steps of your service or event or physical location and comparing how the different demographics react positively or negatively to the different steps. And currently, it's all but absent in UND's curriculum. They kind of touch upon it in the 101 and 300 classes, but really the only class that really gets in depth about it is the School of Adult Learning 101 class. And even then, it's only a very topical exercise. And there's really no excuse to why we don't have this better implemented into our program. There's literature written about it, lots of big time businesses use it, there's lots of software. There's really no excuse. So, what I'm proposing is that the university purchase and start to use the experiencing mapping software called Smaply. Now, it's only $50 a month. It's a subscription service, so we don't have to worry about expensive programs. We can cancel it whenever we want, but even on our shoestring budget, we can afford it. It's relatively cheap. One of the coolest things about Smaply is its use of personas. And these are basically an archetype that you create based on real world demographic research that you have done. And this is really nice because it helps avoid stereotyping your consumers, your potential consumers, because it's all based on research that you have actually gone out and collected from the real world. Even Netflix claims that the stereotypical demographics are complete garbage when it actually comes to the needs of the customer or analyzing the customer experience. With Smaply, you can create as many personas as you want, and they can be as broad or as specific as your heart desires. Anything is on the table. You could have one of your personas be an 8-year-old cycling enthusiast, and you could have another one be an elderly spiritualist storyteller. Both of them would be acceptable personas. And then it will store the data that you have collected and these personas for later use, and you can go in and compare and contrast how these different personas would react to the experience that you are mapping. Now we're getting into the real meat and potatoes of Smaply. The heart of Smaply is its journey mapping or experience mapping. So the first thing you want to do when utilizing this feature is to pick your scope. Do you want to focus on the entire experience or just a small part of a larger one? For example, a museum could create a map of a guest's entire visit to their institution, or they could do something like one of the smaller experiences, like a particular exhibit, or their cafe, or their gift shop. Then you need to map out what you feel are the most important parts of the experience that you're analyzing. And this can take the form of an emotional journey map, which you can see there with the dots and the lines, which charts a customer's emotional journey as they move through the experience. You can also do storyboards with pictures and in-depth text descriptions. Then you insert the personas that we were talking about earlier and walk them through the experience step by step, connecting them with the touch points based on how they reacted during past similar experiences that you have researched. Then you can use this data to compare the different personas to create optimal experience design. Last but not least, we have Smaply's stakeholder maps. Now, this is a wonderful tool that creates a visual that lays out all of the different organizations and parties that are involved with the experience in question. At the center of the graph, you have the stakeholders that are at the heart of the experience. So those are generally your customers or your students. Then as you go out, the importance becomes less and less. But these shareholder maps create a web showing you how each stakeholder is related to the other, whether that's sending each other goods or research data or money or anything like that. And these kind of maps can help you analyze the experience from a variety of different perspectives that you may not have thought of before. It helps you gain insights into the behavior of different stakeholders involved as well. Finally, we're going to move on to some ideas for the implementation of Smaply, as well as a quick SWOT analysis of the program. Smaply can be implemented immediately upon purchase. No hang-ups, no hiccups there. And it should be implemented into all of the classes as well as any of the outside special projects that this program is going to be involved in. I would recommend that we do independent training sessions for majors and minors and anyone who is going to be using the program extensively. And then as far as the 101 and 300 classes, which have mostly Gen Ed students in them, maybe not necessarily people who are interested in the field, I would say that you need to either do a class exercise using the teacher or university's account, or you could utilize the 14-day free trial and have every single student sign up and do a project within those 2 weeks and then have them turn it in. As far as the SWOT analysis goes, major strength, there are really no risks with this program. Worst case scenario, we are out a couple $100s. It's also within our budget. We have a shoestring budget, but $50 a month really isn't that bad. But now, weaknesses. Smaply is not as powerful as other programs. That is the trade-off you get for it only being $50 a month. Also, it has a very steep learning curve, which is why I was suggesting doing training sessions for anyone who's going to use it extensively. Opportunities, it can and should be implemented into every single experience design class UND has, and every single major and minor needs to learn how to use it. It also implements an industry standard practice into the curriculum, which will make our curriculum and our faculty and students stronger. The biggest threat is, well, the budget runs out. If we somehow lose our funding, then we really can't afford to have Smaply anymore. Also, if we're not careful, we could create an overdependence on the program, and students would forget how to do experience mapping on their own with pen and paper. In conclusion, I think Smaply represents a great opportunity for both our students as well as our program as a whole, and I hope you take my suggestions into consideration. Thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful day.